If you've ever felt like sugar cravings are controlling you, if you think that you're weak or undisciplined or that there's something wrong with you because you just can't get control of these cravings, well, I am here to tell you that you are not weak, you are not broken, and it's not a discipline problem. The truth is that cravings aren't a sign of weakness. They're signals from your body. You can think of them like the warning lights on your car dash that tells you something's not working how it's supposed to be. Well, that's what cravings are in your body. So today I'm going to show you how to read those signals, and I'm going to give you 3 really quick fixes that you can start today that will help you get control of your cravings so that they're not a struggle anymore. I'm Genny Tonin, and I'm a holistic nutritionist, and I work with women who are 40 plus and looking to drop excess weight, increase their energy, support their hormones, and feel like themselves again. And I too used to struggle with the sugar cravings roller coaster. I lived it for way too long. So if you're there, I get it. I've been there. I hear you. But now I teach women how to decode these cravings instead of fighting them, because that doesn't work. So for years, I dealt with sugar cravings. And at the time, I didn't really realize that it was sugar cravings that I was struggling with, because I didn't identify as somebody that had a sweet tooth. It wasn't M&Ms or chocolate bars that I was going for. For me, it was carbs. It was pasta or a bagel or a muffin or rice or chips or crackers. I mean, if it was a savory, starchy food, I was all over it. But I had the same pattern day in and day out. I would go to work. I usually had breakfast at work. I'd skip it when I first woke up. And then mid to late morning, inevitably, I'd have some kind of an energy crash and I'd get a craving. Oftentimes, I'd make a coffee run, go get a sweetened coffee drink, or I'd grab something like a muffin or a bagel that I thought was going to help me. And then I'd feel a bit better. And then I'd have another crash. And then I'd eat lunch. And again, I'd feel a little bit better. And then mid to late afternoon, toward the end of my workday, have another crash. And oftentimes I'd go rummaging through the fridge at work, see if I had anything there. I'd make microwave popcorn, or I'd grab a granola bar, or I'd even run to the nearby store and get some kind of pick-me-up, whatever I felt would satisfy my craving in that moment. And then at the end of the day, I'd go home, and I was usually a hot, hangry mess by then. I remember I'd come in and I would open up the cupboards and I would look in them. I would just stare. I would be hangry and cranky and not very fun for the people at home to be around. They usually steered clear until I got something into my system and I felt a little bit better. So if you can relate to that at all, I hear you. I've lived it, and it doesn't have to be that way. I used to think back then, though, that this was a discipline problem, or it was just the way I was, that I used to call myself hypoglycemic and say, oh, I just need to eat frequently to keep my blood sugar even, and then I'm okay. Turns out it was completely wrong. Turns out that I was having blood sugar crashes, and this all started first thing in the morning for me, and I perpetuated throughout my day without even realizing it. And when I understood this, when I learned how to switch things around, my cravings vanished. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. I had this huge aha moment where I realized that my cravings weren't the enemy. They were trying to tell me something. They were the messengers. So now let's talk about the 3 things that you can start today to help you resolve your cravings from the root cause. Because instead of trying to discipline it, force yourself to behave differently, grind and struggle through that willpower, and try to be this perfect person that ignores those symptoms, let's get at it from why your body's trying to tell you this, resolve it from that space, and let the cravings just take care of themselves. So first things first, we want to ensure that we have nice, steady even blood sugar as much as possible throughout the day. Now, there's always going to be some variances depending on when you've eaten, how much you're moving, stress, and other factors too. But we want it to mimic that nice even line more than an up and down roller coaster, because as we know, what goes up must come down, and we want to get rid of the blood sugar spikes. And most of the time, cravings equal a blood sugar spike followed by a crash. So the simplest way to start doing this, or to start resolving this, is to ensure that with each and every meal that you eat, you are getting a minimum of 30 grams of protein. Ideally, most clients that I work with, these are women in midlife, I suggest a higher amount of protein than that, but I suggest 30 grams of protein as a minimum for each and every meal, pretty much universally. Protein does so much good in your body, and when all of my clients, and I'm talking about many hundreds of them at this point, have started working with me, virtually none of them have been getting adequate protein in the beginning. And when they start to get enough protein in their diet, things really can start to shift. So protein will help slow your digestion. It's going to help keep your energy and your blood sugar nice and steady throughout the day. It's also going to be extremely filling and energizing. So if you're always hungry, if you always feel like you have to restrict, by getting more protein, it can help with those things also. But like I said, protein helps keep that blood sugar, that energy nice and level throughout the day, so that cravings aren't such a struggle for you anymore. And we can do this in really easy ways. It doesn't mean that you have to be eating bucket loads of chicken breast and egg whites every single day, like some bodybuilder. That's not what I'm asking you to do. But think of doing things like eggs, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, good quality protein powder, especially whey protein, versus things like cereal or toast or a muffin or pasta or bread or rice, or those things that contain virtually no protein, and the protein in them is locked in and very hard for your body to access. So when you have a sugar craving, ask yourself, did my last meal set me up for this craving? Did I hit enough protein? Make sure you're getting the protein in each and every meal and see how that impacts you. And step 2 is the magnesium connection. I am such a giant fan of magnesium. It has benefited me, and it has benefited my clients that have used it in so many ways. And the truth is that due to the soil conditions in our world, even foods that are traditionally viewed as high magnesium foods, they just don't contain the magnesium that they're supposed to, because if it's not in the soil, the plants growing in that soil can't soak it up. So even if you're eating lots of leafy greens, spinach, almonds, pumpkin seeds, dark chocolate, all of the things that we think of as magnesium rich, odds are that you're just simply not getting enough. Add to that stress, lack of sleep, high sugar in our foods, and lots of other factors that all of us in today's society deal with, and it's almost guaranteed that you're not getting nearly enough magnesium. And magnesium is responsible for hundreds of processes in our body, including helping us to stabilize our blood sugar. So in addition to focusing on a magnesium-rich whole foods diet, which is one of my key recommendations for clients that I work with, oftentimes supplementation is needed in order to make sure that you're getting enough magnesium in your life. And your body will give you lots of signs about magnesium deficiency, but it can come up in a variety of ways that aren't always clear and obvious. Things like muscle cramps, excess weight, low energy, anxiety, poor sleep. These can all be indicators of low magnesium. So when we're talking about supplementation, oftentimes I will recommend to clients that they consider supplementing. Magnesium tends to be a very safe and effective supplement to use. And my personal favorite form of magnesium is something called magnesium glycinate. Sometimes on the label, you'll see it listed as magnesium bisglycinate. So in addition to getting those magnesium-rich foods in your diet every day, oftentimes I suggest a magnesium supplement in addition to that. And magnesium, like I said, does so many great things in addition to helping us with our blood sugar. It helps with our energy production. It helps with stress. It helps with anxiety. It helps with sleep. It helps with mood. It's a wonderful thing. So I encourage you to look into that and consider it if you think that might be something that would benefit you. And number 3 is emotional repatterning. It's always a tongue twister for me. Number 3 is emotional repatterning. There, I said it. So sometimes cravings are physical cues from our bodies. Yes, absolutely. A lot of the times they are, but not always. Sometimes cravings are a sign of not hunger, but stress or boredom or some other issue similar to that. So when you find yourself being struck with a craving, ask yourself, what is it that I really need right now? Take a minute, and I'm just talking about a minute. This doesn't have to be a long, elaborate thing, but have a break for a second. Take a drink of water, take a couple of deep breaths, go for a quick walk, do some laps around your house or your office or the block or wherever you are. Ask yourself, like I said, what do I really need right now? And give yourself a moment to respond. Don't be stuck in that autopilot when the craving strikes. You reach for the M&Ms or the muffin or the bagel or whatever the thing is that you go for in those moments. I want to encourage you to start to retrain your body so that sugar isn't just the default fix, that you're becoming more aware and more mindful of these habits and patterns that we all develop throughout our life that oftentimes we're not even necessarily aware of. And that's one of the many things that I teach my clients in my program, the Midlife Metabolism Fix. We work a lot on not just the physical act of what to do, but how to do it, the mindset involved, because there's more parts at play than just simply following instructions when we're looking to drop weight for the long term in a healthy way as women in midlife. And as a bonus, there's another quick, easy thing that you can do to help with cravings. And that's simply to hydrate first. Now, hydration is a huge issue pretty much universally. Most of us are walking around chronically dehydrated and we don't even recognize it because we're just so used to it. And physical dehydration and physical hunger or cravings, well, they can feel the same inside our body. It's really hard to tell the difference between, is this dehydration or is this hunger or a craving cue? So by ensuring that you get enough water, well, you can stop those cravings before they start. So it's simple. How much water do you need? Well, what I teach clients is you take your body weight in pounds, divide that number in half, and that's how many ounces of water to aim for each and every day. And now, if you're sweating a lot, if you're exercising a lot, if you're under the weather, things like that, you might need to adjust that a little bit more. You might need a bit more, but ensuring that you're taking, again, half your body weight, that's the number of ounces of water you want to aim for every day. And as a bonus, I get asked all the time about electrolytes in water because they're really popular and they're really expensive. So people always want to know, what brand's best? Do I need them? And at the heart of it, I am a bare bones girl. I like to keep things as simple as possible for myself and for the people that I work with. So my recommendation to you is, well, are some great electrolyte brands out there. There's other ones that aren't so great. Most of them are really expensive. So if cost is an issue for you, then you don't need to buy electrolytes, especially the fancy ones. that, you know, you see advertised everywhere. You want to be, if you are buying electrolytes, though, you want to be very mindful. You want to make sure that you're staying away from ones with any kind of sweeteners or colors or flavorings that might not be ideal for us, and get the best, cleanest source possible. But if you don't want to go the electrolyte route, you don't have to. You can simply put a tiny pinch of sea salt in your water. And I'm talking about tiny, not so it's salty like the ocean or anything like that. But by doing that, it's going to help your body hold onto that water in a nice, healthy way and not run right through you, so you're always in the bathroom. Or you can buy some mineral drops that have had the sodium removed but are full of the good trace minerals that will help balance those electrolytes and keep you well hydrated. Concentrace is a great brand, no flavorings, no colorings. You wouldn't even know it's in there. And you can just add a couple of drops of that to your glass of water, following the label instructions, and you have a nice electrolyte-rich water that's going to help ensure that cravings aren't being misunderstood and make you nice and hydrated, which is going to do a world of good for you. So I want you to just really understand, at the end of the day, cravings don't mean that there's something wrong with you. They're clues your body's trying to give you. They're messengers from your body. So when you learn how to decode these messages, instead of fighting them, you're going to feel empowered. You're going to feel so much more in control. It's going to be so much less of a struggle. So the next step, if this has been helpful for you, is to get my free guide. Links are below. The Midlife Metabolism Jumpstart Guide. Like I said, it's free, and it's going to show you how to balance your blood sugar and cut cravings by following the simple steps inside naturally, effectively, by addressing the root cause. And remember, cravings aren't bad. They're just clues. So in my guide, I'll show you how to work with them. So as always, I hope that this has helped. Please share this video with somebody else that it can help. Be sure to subscribe so that I can see you in the next one. Why do I do this when the camera starts recording? Every time. I do it so well if I'm just saying it out loud. But as soon as I hit record, is that stage fright? I don't know. Anyway, let's start again.